Do you have a good grasp of the vast universe of off the shelf, ready to go APIs catered for AI in Google Cloud? Today, we'll explore these powerful APIs to help you understand the lay of the land. These are consistently REST APIs and come with client SDKs to smooth out processes like authentication. These APIs can, of course, be used in batch scripts or pipeline processes, but the top tier performance enables a wide variety of real time applications. We'll also sneak into some related topics like identity and access management, crucial for securing and maximizing use of these APIs. Plus, we'll peek into the Cloud Operations Suite, your one stop shop for monitoring and logging, as we keep a sharp eye on our API usage. Without further ado, let's plunge straight into a fresh Google Cloud project. Amongst the API roster, the Generative AI APIs stand out. Let's navigate to Vertex AI, where we'll first enable the service, then start exploring the LLM APIs. Vertex AI Studio is your launchpad, but we'll unveil the API soon. We'll be utilizing various LLMs, which could be ready-made or custom models that you fine-tuned yourself. We'll toss in a prompt and brace for the response. Fantastic! It seems like we got an impressive response back here. This Get Code button can offer us some help when we're using this API. Let's shift focus to a pure API call here. This means we need to handle the authorization work. If you're on Team curl and use the gcloud CLI for securing an access token, the task is relatively straightforward. In the case of non-SDK programming languages, though, things get a bit hands-on with needing authentication libraries to source the token for each API call. By opting for client SDKs, they take the reins, handling the authentication if we're using service accounts. Let's amp up the excitement and launch our editor to experience firsthand this API in action. This code should be ready to run as we're on a Cloud Shell IDE here with all prerequisite libraries preloaded. Initiate Gemini. Hold on, looks like we first need to set up the AI platform library. After our successful authentication in the Cloud IDE, everything ran like clockwork. If you're cozy in an IDE and authenticated, or perhaps using the built-in authentication systems and services like Cloud Functions or Cloud Run, accessing this API will be a breeze. A good chunk of what we see here is just some safety and configuration code for the LLM, including some parameters for the LLM call. But the real heart and soul of our mission is right here. We're getting our client up and running, specifying a model, and then letting loose that API call and working with the results that come in. This is a common pattern when working with these APIs and SDKs. And yes, the curl call we used as an example earlier is also an option. Let's scoop that up and run it through our terminal here. That was just as proficient at fetching our desired response. However, it's kind of a smorgasbord. We're getting so much more in terms of metadata, safety ratings, and more. That information is also available, but more cleanly tucked away in the response object in our code. We're getting a more raw experience with the API. Now, let's shift the spotlight onto our IAM configurations and whip up an example service account. Crucially, we'll assign a role here, something like Vertex AI user. This role comes with a heap of permissions in Vertex AI, and we're assigning it at the project level. Let's journey into the roles page and see precisely what we just appended to our fledgling service account. We're now geared up with about 313 permissions. Scrolling down the list, you'll find all sorts of permissions, some of which, for instance, allow the use of Vertex AI endpoints. We have quite the assortment of models at our disposal for a targeted, configurable AI approach. Further, Vertex AI doesn't limit you to just Google's ready-made AI, but also enables the utilization of other APIs and open source models. Imagine that we want to use the image bind model from Meta, a multimodal embeddings model. We could launch that onto the Vertex AI endpoint service with just one click. We're going to deploy this in US Central, utilize the embed model, and that's all there is to it. This will take care of a whole load of configurations for us, even an automatic selection of an accelerator type, in this case an L4. Now we have another API that we can use for our batch processes or even real-time tasks. However, be patient as this does take a bit of time to deploy. A common requirement for AI applications is converting speech to text or text to speech. As usual, feel free to explore these capabilities in the console before scooping up the code. Let's sample the text to speech, for instance, and then we find this handy Get Code button. Let's experiment with this, test those sound waves, and then collect this code here. Python is usually the default suggestion. However, running this with the curl call or other language SDKs is also feasible. So let's seize this opportunity, return to our Cloud Shell editor, and give this code a shot too. Many of these get code interfaces will pre-fill details like the project ID, making it preferable over generic documentation. It seems like in this particular case, this configuration wasn't necessary. Now let's get this text-to-speech up and running. It appears the service is not yet active in this project, so let's go ahead and awaken that API in a fresh tab. And then we'll take another shot at that API call. Bam! Nailed it, just like before we get this output in MP3. We've now triumphed in using that API via Python SDK. Recall though, we're not chained to Python. You could dance with raw curl calls or any other language that can flirt with APIs. They're all welcome at the party. You know that saying, what goes around comes around? Let's come full circle. We've done text to speech, now let's flip it. This tech also does speech to text or transcription. Let's download this MP3 output and put it in reverse to do some transcription. Drumroll please. Let's dispatch that and wait for the words to appear. It seemed to stumble over the brand name a tad, but hey, the rest of it is spot on. I guess Notomatic isn't yet a household name. Time to fork another path from the model garden and look at embedding APIs. They're crucial for loads of machine learning use cases where a semantic representation might be needed for, say, an image or a chunk of text. Another neat feature of Model Garden is the facets here. Click on Embedding Models and voila! We've got Google Cloud options here and one that struts on the open source stage courtesy of Meta. We don't need to deploy the Google Cloud options. The APIs are ready to go, like most of the others, and pay per use. Let's finish with another common AI-based use case, translation. Google Cloud is armed to the teeth with translation tools and hosts a myriad of associated GUIs. However, let's run the Versatile Translate API. New project and new service, you'll probably need to enable the associated API. There you have it, the German for hello everyone. The operational experience for all these APIs is important, so let's do a quick foray into monitoring and logging. One of the first stops should probably be the audit logs. While they lead to higher project log volumes and therefore inflate costs, they unleash a higher degree of detailed logging, an especially useful tool when developing or testing. Next stop, cloud logging. This is the treasure chest full of our logs, and through it we can search, filter, export, and alert who did what, when, and how with our ML APIs, all neatly laid bare before us. Let's top off our in-depth tour with a metrics explorer, setting our sights on usage. How about we scrutinize LLM usage? A lot of this, of course, is going to be focused on Vertex AI, since that's the service that contains most of the ML APIs. While that's just the tip of the iceberg, we hope that this quick introduction to Google Cloud ML APIs was helpful. We'll watch the comment section for any questions and want to thank you for watching. Please enjoy responsibly.